Buenos dias, amigos and amigas. It is Wend Brothers workout time, baby. Good morning. Hey. All right. It's hit day today. Hell yeah, right? Hit's dope. Get some good cardio in today. It's a lot of fun MMA type stuff, right? We're no MMA pros, but we definitely use it to get some cardio, right? So let me get through the moves and we'll get rocking here. Make sure you're nice and loose, like swings. You know how it goes every time. So first up is jump squat. A familiar friend of ours, or enemy. Jump squat. Do what you want with your hands. You can use them to help you jump if you'd like. Second, burpees. Shane always does an extra burpee, even though you know what it is. Gargoyle kicks. So you're in gargoyle stance. You're going to come forward. Kick out. Gargoyle kicks. And we go into the MMA stuff. So knee kick. Knee kick we've done. Knee kick. Knee kick. We'll do that for 15 and then we'll rock the other side. Shove shovel. This is a new one. This is fun. So when I say shovel, it's kind of like snow plow, right? Your two hands shoveling. So, right? So that's your shovel. So shove, right? Simple, makes sense. So you're gonna shove, shovel, shove, shovel. Now you see how the shovel pulls me off the ground? All right? It's explosiveness, explosive movement. Use your arms to pull you off the ground. Shove, shovel. And we'll rock that other side. Then we're going to do the same thing, plus a hop turn. So you're going to give it the shove, shovel, hop turn. Shove, shovel, hop turn. Repeat. Shove, shovel, hop turn. And we got knee 1-2. What up, Bertha Flores? Thanks for tuning in. Good morning. How you doing? Happy Friday. All right. Then we got knee 1-2. So knee 1-2, knee 1-2. I like to throw my arms down too. Extra cardio, right? Explosive movement with the body, right? That's what it's all about. So that's where these come from. Knee 1-2. We'll do the other side. Then we'll do it with the lunge. So we're going to go knee 1-2, lunge. Knee 1-2, lunge. Then we're going to do it with a jump. All right, jump, lunge. So knee 1-2, lunge, jump. So that's pretty fun, I think. Knee 1-2, jump, lunge. Then we got chain punches. We know chain punches. In a slight squat, punching from the chest. Ha, ha, ha. About chin level. And last but not least, leap scissor kick. Hell yeah. So you're going to leap, land, scissor kick. Back pedal, repeat. All right, baby. You got 1 minute, and we'll get kicking it off here. Also, it's nutrition-related pathology week, right? So if you want to hear something about obesity, not just the typical things that are talked about with obesity, but some cool, interesting new stuff. We'll break down different types of fats, and then we'll get into lifestyle changes and good foods to eat, good foods to stay away from, right? So stick around after if you want to hear a little bit about that. You got 30 seconds. Jump squat to start. A little bit earlier than usual today. And you're in a squat, jump. Kick it out. Kick. Knee kick. Knee kick. Knee kick. MMA stuff coming. Other side. Kick. Kick. Shove, shovel, shove, shovel. Yeah. Go back. Yeah. Other side. Yeah. 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 Go back. Starting point. Shove. Shovel. Hot turn. Yeah. 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 Knee. 1, 2. Other side. Yeah, the lunge. 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 Other side. Yeah. 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 Other side. Yeah. Now you're lunging and hopping. Yeah. Other side. Yeah. 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 Team punch. Leap. Yeah. Scissor kick. Leap. Scissor kick. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Suna, what up, Matthias? My brother. How you doing, baby? Love you. What up, man? Love you too, man. How you doing? Thanks for coming on. 1 minute. Huh. Heart rate's up already. It's early. It's good news. Oh. Jump squat first. Jump squat. Yeah. 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 Burpee. Yeah. 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 Gargoyle. Other side, other side. Yeah. 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 Push. Yeah. 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 Shovel. Yeah. Yeah. Going back. Yeah. 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 Other side. Yeah. 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 Going back. Yeah. 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 With a hot turn. Yeah. Yeah. Hot turn. Yeah. 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 1, 2. Hands to the knee. Yeah. 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 Go straight into the lunge, the same side. Yeah. 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 Now with that lunge high. Yeah. 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 To the side, all 3. Lunge. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Jump. Yeah. 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 Chain punch. Heart rate should be up. That's for sure. Leap. Scissor kick. Yeah. Yeah. Another one. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. What do you think you would say if in the beginning I said, hey guys, we're gonna do only 3 rounds today? Because that's what it is right now. 3 rounds. It's not bad, 12 minutes. What do you got? Come on, baby. Let's go. Jump squat coming. Jump squat. Yeah. 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 Burpee. Yeah. 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 Gargoyle. Kick. 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 Knee. Kick. Kick. Knee. Kick. Kick. With a little hop. side, other side. Give me a shovel, foot, shove. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Other side. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again. Yeah. 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 Hop turn. Yeah. 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 1, 2. Hands to the knee. Knee. 1, 2. Other side. Yeah. 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 Other side. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. 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 Other side. Other side. With the lunge jump. Yeah. 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 Other side. Chain pump. Leap. Yeah. Scissor kick. Back pedal. Leap. Scissor kick. Another one. Yeah. Ah. Hey, Gym Modeling. Hey. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, Shara. 3 down. Let's go, baby. 2 more. Swim good. Oh man, that heart rate. Get it up in the morning. It's good. Go squat. Yeah. 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 Burpee. Yeah. 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 Come forward. Okay. Walk back, forward. Okay. Knee kick. Knee kick. Yeah. Other side, people. job. Push. Yeah. Shovel. Yeah. 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 Going back. Yeah. 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 Other way. Yeah. 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 Going back. Yeah. 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 Hot turn. Yeah. Hot turn. Yeah. 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 Knee. 1, 2. Knee. 2. Now with a lunge. Same side, right? With a hop. Yeah. 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 Other side. All 3. With a lunge. Yeah. 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 With the hop. Yeah. 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 Same punch. Yeah. Oh my God. Good job. You're almost done with your 4th circuit. Leap. Yeah. Scissor kick. Yeah. 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 One more. Ah. Ah. Jump squat coming. Few seconds. Last one, baby. Let's go. Find it. Find it. Jump squat. Last circuit. Let's go. Yeah. 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 Burpees. Yeah. 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 Gargoyle. Ah. Yeah. 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 Knee kick. Knee kick. You threw the worst with it. Good job. Other side. Yeah. 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 Shovel, yeah. Push, shovel, push, shovel. Going back. Yeah, 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 yeah. Other side. Yeah, 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 yeah. Again. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now the hot turn. Yeah, yeah. Knee kick. One knee, 1, 2. Knee, 1, 2. Knee. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. Lunge. Yeah. I know you're tired. Lunge jump. So am I. Or mental. Yeah. Yeah. Other side, knee, 1, 2. Lunge. 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 Lunge, jump. Yeah. 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 Chain lunge. Faster. 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 Leap. Scissor kick. Leap. Scissor kick. Leap. Scissor kick. One more. Leap. Scissor kick. Ah. Give me a second. We'll talk. Oh. Okay. That was a lot of cardio. Good job. Golf clap. Okay. So, Nutritional Pathology Week, obesity today. Let's talk about different types of fat. You got saturated, trans, and unsaturated fat. So I'm so tired. Saturated fat, we'll start with the chemistry, but we'll be rather brief about it. It's just so you understand why they're harder to break down. It's a linear chain, saturated fats. And so these carbons are bound linearly to one another, and the hydrogens are off the bottom and the ends. Harder to break down this linear chain than it is to break down an unsaturated fatty acid which has kinks in it. What's responsible for these kinks are double or even triple bonds sometimes. Okay? And if it has more double bonds, then it's polyunsaturated, right? Because it's referring to saturation with hydrogen. So if it's taking up 2 bonds to get to another carbon, right? That's 1 less hydrogen it's going to bind. That means it's less saturated or unsaturated with hydrogen, right? So, even though double and triple bonds are stronger than regular bonds between carbons, but again, the kink in the chain plays the major role in that it's easier to break down, okay? Top of that, trans fats. So, if you took an unsaturated fat and you added hydrogen to it, right? That would be hydrogenation. So when you talk about partially hydrogenated oils, right, they're hydrogenating those areas of double bonds. And a normal unsaturated fat in its cis form, CIS, would have, say, 2 carbons are like this. I'll go like that.
and there's a double bond between them, right? So the carbon is 4 valence electrons, so it needs what? 8, we know that. So 2 are right here, so they're each sharing 2. So they're at 6, so they only need 2 more bonds, and they're good to go. So if 2 are there, on top, hydrogen, hydrogen, on the same side of the bond. And by side, I mean from top to bottom. So they're both on the top, or they're both on the bottom, right? Usually both on the top. So now we need 1 more bond. And that last bond is from the carbon before it and the carbon after it. So there you go. That's your 8 in the valence shell from that, right? From those types of bonds in an unsaturated normal fat in cis form. When it's put into trans form, we said we have those 2 hydrogens here, and what happens is, engineer it so one goes down here. Now they're opposing each other, right? And trans in Latin means across, I believe. And so they're across from one another, right? And that's harder to break because it's well balanced. It's harder to break that down. So when you have unsaturated fats that are converted into a more saturated and trans form, that's where we get our trans fats, right? And they're engineered to do so, usually to preserve shelf life, because saturated fats and trans fats are solid at room temperature. Again, they're solid at room temperature. So unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature. At least they can be in a form of liquid at room temperature. But you see unsaturated fats in solid form too. And we'll take a classic example. Peanuts, unsaturated fat. Peanut oil, also unsaturated fat, and that's its liquid form. Olives, unsaturated fat. Olive oil, unsaturated fat, liquid form, right? So they come in oils, right? So when you think of unsaturated fats, think of nuts, seeds, fatty fishes like salmon and mackerel, all that good stuff, right? That's got either liquid at room temperature or unsaturated. When you talk about saturated fats, we're talking things that have high animal fat content, meats, like, really well-marbled steak. Now, steak is not bad for you, and it is a whole nother day. And we know it has a B12, right? That red meat, but especially organ meats. But anyway, the point is, not to get off topic, the steak itself, yeah, it's good for you, but eating all that fat, now that's all solid at room temperature, right? So that's saturated fat in there, okay? Butter, ice cream, cheese, right? Or a few more. When you talk about trans fats, you're talking things that are processed, right? You're talking your crackers, your cookies, your donuts, your fried foods, right? So they're chemically changing things so that they go from liquid to solid form, right? And you could think about, what do you think's easier to do? To cut through a brick or water? Right, obviously we would all say water. So it makes sense that an unsaturated fat, which is usually in liquid form at room temperature, is easier for your body to break down, break through. And that saturated solid room temperature is more difficult, right? So that's the explanation of what types of fat there are, right? And really stay away from, there's some studies that say some saturated fat is good. I mean, keep it in moderation, right? Mainly unsaturated, right? You want to fill your diet with unsaturated fats, but a little bit of saturated is okay, apparently, according to current research. And trans fats are a no-no. That's, cut them out, cut them out. So in terms of lifestyle and diet changes, right? If you are obese or if you don't want to become obese, right? You can follow some guidelines. We all know, stay more physically active. Get your Wend wellness in every day, baby. Bada bang, bada boom. That's only 20 minutes, do it. Yeah, but whatever exercise you do some exercise every day, obviously. Less sedentary lifestyle in general. Those people that have jobs, they're sitting in cubicles all day, right? We weren't meant to be like that. We were meant to be moving throughout the day evolutionarily, and that just, that's not how our bodies were made to run. So we have to remember that despite societal implications of today, right? That's a normal thing to do for 8 hours a day. It's not for your body as far as it knows from internally, an internal perspective. So aside from that, less screen time, same thing. More sleep. Sleep is big for burning fat. And insulin sensitivity as well. I was reading a study on it this morning. So very interesting. They say a lack of sleep could contribute to the development of type 2 diabetes, which we're going to talk about in a couple days here. But get your sleep. More active lipolytic enzymes, burning that fat, right? Lipofat, lytic, breaking down. So I always explain the words. We don't hide behind words. So keep in mind that sleep is very, very important. Not to mention you release more growth hormone during sleep and all sorts of good hormones, testosterone, and so really please get your sleep. That's a massive factor that people don't realize. Another big thing with sleep is if you don't get enough sleep, your body is going to release more ghrelin. Okay, and ghrelin says, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. So have you ever been really tired and you're like, I seem hungrier today, right? I seem hungrier than I normally am at this time every day. Well, your body's trying to compensate for its lack of energy from the sleep by telling you to eat when really you don't need to eat. It's lying to you in that sense, right? So you release leptin when you're full, right? So we release ghrelin when we don't get enough sleep. It can make you falsely eat, hence too many calories, right? Another thing, if you, sugary beverages, probably the worst. Probably the worst. If you're overweight and you want to cut one thing out of your diet, make it soda, lemonade, iced tea, all that crap. Go get some seltzer. They have flavored seltzers now with natural flavors. I mean, who knows what really the natural flavors are. But it's better than getting some with 80 grams of sugar in a freaking can. Come on, you don't need all that sugar. It could taste great without having a soda. It's empty calories, right? And empty meaning empty macronutrient value, aside from sugar, which you do not have to try to get in your diet. Trust me, you'll get your carbs every day without trying, right? So that's a massive thing. So please, 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 because the more sugar you take in, the more fat you produce. Because what do we always say? Energy sources, fat, sugar, right? Whichever one you eat all the time, your body's going to produce the opposite. Oh yeah, why is it bad if I drink soda? There's no fat in soda. How am I going to get fat? It doesn't need to be fat. You want to eat fat. Healthy fats, like we were just talking about, unsaturated preferably. But you want to eat fat. Because whatever you eat, look at bodybuilders, very high fat diet, healthy fats, you know? And your body's going to burn whatever it's taken in, and it's going to produce the opposite because it's not getting it, right? Speaking for the liver majorly, right? So again, if you eat fat, it promotes gluconeogenesis, the production of glucose. And if you eat sugar, it promotes lipogenesis, the production of fat. And nobody wants to produce more fat, right? Another thing with obesity, if you could change something aside from diet in terms of lifestyle, and aside from exercise, the timing of your eating is very important. You can either be in great shape in two different ways. You can eat healthy, clean food every 2 hours, right? A lot of bodybuilders do that. We're talking about them. Now, I'm no bodybuilder, I know, but it's a thing that I've noticed, you know, and researched in them. And they'll eat every 2 hours, a lot of them. Your metabolism's kicking all day, kicking, right? It's a fast burning machine, baby. Like you've heard, probably 7 little meals throughout the day instead of those 3. Or you can be on the other extreme with intermittent fasting. But you can't be in the middle. So we'll talk about the extreme and then what the in the middle is, the other extreme. So intermittent fasting. So you go into ketosis, we've talked about, so the burning of fat, right? Your body moves to fat as the energy source because it's not getting anything, right? It would prefer to burn glucose because it's easier to break down, but when it's not getting it for so many hours, usually about 12, 13 in girls, and in guys, 14, 15, and you'll start getting into that ketosis. Studies vary, some say 16, not the point. But you can have a safe number with fasting, right? And in slightly more hours than that every day. But an easy way to start, Shane, I can't just not eat all day. I get that. My brain's not going to work. I get that. You can't jump into something like that. You got to move gradually. And if you want to start doing that, here's the best way, in my opinion. You don't eat 4 hours before bed. It's not too bad. Sacrifice 4 hours before bed. That means nothing. No snacks. You can have water. You can have anything with no calories, okay? You can have that, just pretty much water is, I would say coffee too, black coffee, but that you don't want to have it that late. That's more of a morning thing. So, water, no food. Sleep, say you slept for 8 hours. Now you're at 12, okay, of fasting. You get the bulk while you sleep. That's the key. It's easy to not eat while you're asleep, right? Let's use the time wisely. So, 2 birds, 1 stone. So then 4 hours after you wake up, don't eat as well. And now where are we at? 8, 16. That's a 16-hour fast. You would never think you could not eat for 16 hours and be okay, but if 8 of them are sleeping, 4 before bed, 4 when you wake up, that's very feasible. Okay? And if that's too difficult, try 3 before bed and 3 when you wake up. Or tack on more before bed and less when you wake up. However you want to do it. Try to meet that goal. Even if you start at 13 hours, right? And use 8 while you sleep, and then 5 elsewhere, right? But they all have to be in a row, right? They all have to be together. And then you could eat the rest of the day. Go ahead. And you could, even to start, eat what you eat all the time. But the timing is massive, and it will make a big difference. Because in that time, you're going to go into ketosis, and you're going to burn some stored fat. You're going to convert that white stored fat to burnable brown fat. Brown, burnable. You remember, right? So you want it to be converted to brown. It will in ketosis. And that's a way to do it. Now, the next week, what do? You could keep the ball rolling. You could add, if you can tolerate that amount of fasting, and if you're lightheaded and dizzy and you're malfunctioning severely, please eat, right? Okay. And drink water throughout the fast, okay? And again, black coffee or tea in the morning is okay as well. Anything with no calories, or 30 calories or less is pretty much okay. But the next week, if you could tack an extra half hour onto that fasting period, you're increasing. So say you did the 4 before bed, 8 with sleep, 4 when you wake up. That's 16 hours. Next week, 16 and a half of fasting. Next week, 17. 17 and a half the week, and so on. And you don't just continue indefinitely. You stop it at a point, you can stop at 18 or 20. But if you could do that every day. Personally, I fast for 22 hours a day. Every day. But I worked my way into that. And I feel great all day. I do these workouts every day and no food for hours, but my body is used to it, okay? It's accepted going into ketosis and using fat for energy. So please keep that in mind. It's a little spiel about obesity. Hopefully some things that weren't too mundane or things that, trivial stuff you haven't heard before. And I had fun today. So tomorrow we're talking about hypertension if you want to tune in and hear about that. Thank you very much. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Backpack day.